Hello everyone, I'm Gunjan Veda from the Hunger Project, and today I would like to tell you a little story about this glass of water and how it changed my life, how it has the potential to change each of our lives and the world that we live in. I come from India, and as some of you may know, India has an insidious caste system. It is a division of society based on occupation. Only this division is hereditary. So vast segments of the population are subjected to cycles of discrimination, marginalization, humiliation, and violence, physical, sexual, emotional, mental, just because they're born into particular households. But all of this is a thing of the past, right? I grew up reading about Article 17 of our Constitution and the various legislative measures that had been put in place to fight caste-based discrimination. And yet, having worked in the human rights and the women's movement in India for over 15 years, I knew that caste-based discrimination existed, but I didn't realize how ubiquitous it was and how it had pervaded each and every aspect of our lives. Till 6 years ago, when I set out collecting stories of the contributions of these marginalized groups for my book, The Museum of Broken Teacups. If you go to most middle-class households in India, be they in the cities and the towns and the villages, you'll see a separate set of utensils for the domestic help and others who help us around the house with domestic chores. The ostensible reason is hygiene. Because people from impoverished sections of society do not have access to running water, their oral and personal hygiene is suspect. But the real genesis of this lies in the caste system, where certain groups of people are regarded to be so impure that their very touch could pollute. And so sharing utensils is an absolute no-no. This separate glass of water, or a separate teacup, is the ubiquitous symbol of caste-based discrimination in India. And the day I realized the real story behind that separate glass of water that sat in my household, I was shattered. Every belief I held about myself was broken. I had not lived up to my principles and values. And yet I also realized how is it that caste-based discrimination, and indeed all forms of power differentials, continue to exist. It is because of this glass of water sitting silently in our homes. And this is true not just of India, but across the globe. I work with the Hunger Project, an organization that believes in the dignity, agency, and voice of every human being. It is the Global Secretariat for the Movement for Community-Led Development, a consortium of over 1,500 local civil society organizations and INGOs who believe that every human being has a right to voice in decisions that affect their lives. In the last couple of years, we've seen terms like localization, locally led development permeate the development discourse. They're there in every conference and meeting, and yet development continues to be top-down. Why? I believe it is because change cannot happen with institutions alone. It has to start with individuals. Till every person working in these organizations believes in the capacities of their fellow human beings, till they believe that people are not beneficiaries but agents of change. We cannot shift the power in international development how much soever we talk about it. And it's not easy. It means sharing space. It means giving up power. And most importantly, it means trusting that somebody who does not have the same educational qualifications, the same language skills, the vast overseas experience that we do, still knows better about what their communities and their countries need. It means having an honest appraisal of our strengths and roles and forging an equal partnership. And it's not easy. But at the Hunger Project, we know that mindset transformation makes the impossible possible. We've seen it happen in over 14,000 rural communities across the globe. The pandemic has shown us that communities are the first responders in any crisis. And if we truly want to attain the Sustainable Development Goals, then community-led development is the only way to go. And if we truly want community-led development to happen, then the change has to begin with you and me. And it's possible. We've seen in the last year how champions of community-led development have changed not just programs, but massive organizations through their relentless advocacy. If you believe in the dignity of every human being and would like to elevate their voices, you believe in community-led development. And if enough of us believe in community-led development, if enough of us are willing to shatter that separate glass of water that sits in our households, then we can shift the power in international development and move to a world that is more sustainable and empowering. Let's do this.